All right, now to a Hollywood tragedy. Oh, gosh, that's a tough transition. My bad for making a joke. Huge headlines. 32-year-old Nick Reiner has been charged with 2 counts of first-degree murder in the brutal stabbing deaths of his parents, legendary director, of course, Rob Reiner, and his wife, Michelle Singer Reiner, in their L.A. home. Authorities say he was arrested without incident, that is the son, and being held without bail. Nick Reiner could also appear in court today. Join us now as psychiatrist, Dr. Carol Lieberman. Dr. Lieberman, thanks for being here. Look, this is, well, to say it's horrific is probably an understatement. We know the son had been battling drugs for years. So break this down for us from a psychological standpoint. What are some of your thoughts here when you saw this? Good morning.
Yes, good morning. Well, of course, this is an incredible tragedy. And the elements of it are not that unusual in terms of other Hollywood families. What we have here, first of all, the main target was his father, was Rob Reiner, and that's called patricide. And it started with family friends have talked about how he was out of control since he was a little boy, for as long as they know him. And so what it seems like is that this whole problem started with an unresolved Oedipal complex. Now, that's Freudian theory. And what that means is during the Oedipal or phallic phase, which is when a little boy is 3 to 7 years old, he has this unconscious desire to marry his mother and kill his father, kill his rival, the father. Now, not literally, but he wants love and attention from his mother, and his father is the rival, for taking some of that away. Now, when you have a father who is a Hollywood superstar, resolving the Oedipal phase, it becomes a lot more difficult. And it was always this competition with his father that I think has lasted, the fame of his father. When they went to the party, Conan O'Brien's party that they went to right before he killed his parents, apparently he was asking people, what's your name? What's your last name? And are you famous? Mm-hmm. He was, in other words, obsessed with this idea of fame, feeling that he couldn't get it for himself and certainly he couldn't get the degree of fame that his father had. It's so interesting that finally some of the things are coming out as far as what he said at the party. So there's a whole, on top of that, I think that he was told tough love, that his parents were told to give him tough love because that's often what happens, especially in Hollywood. And tough love never works. Tough love, where you're supposed to just tell your child, either get to rehab or become homeless, really is what happened with him. That never works.
It's interesting, Doctor. You said finally we're getting some of these details. Actually, we're just like a couple days past this, and we have a lot of details. In fact, I would love to have all of these details about the assassin of Charlie Kirk. I would love to have all these details about the attempted assassin of President Trump that killed Corey. Sure. But we don't have any of those details. So it's interesting because this is an active investigation, and we can have all the details, but we can't have details from other things. I just find that very interesting. Right. But, Doctor, there's a lot of psychology going around here. President Trump made some comments about this, and Hollywood lit up over this. And he doubled down. He's not backing away from them. Explain the interplay of the psychology here where President Trump is concerned.
Yes, well, I think President Trump has been getting more and more frustrated with judges getting in the way of things that he wants to do to make America great. So he comes out with these things a little more easily. But he talked about how Rob Reiner had Trump derangement syndrome. And apparently there is a lot of documentation about that he was really over the top as far as how much he hated Trump. Now, I've been researching this. When I say, that there isn't much information coming out, I've been researching, trying to find something specific where that was connected to his son. In other words, where his Trump derangement syndrome interacted with his son. I haven't been able to find that yet. However, I do know from studying Trump derangement syndrome for a year, that Trump derangement syndrome causes otherwise rational people to become irrational and causes people in families to turn against each other. So it is certainly very likely that was one of the factors that was a contributing factor to the murders.
Do we know the political leanings of the son, Nick?
No, I don't. I haven't been able to find that.
I found nothing that says that he was anything contrary to his own dad, so I don't know. But Dr. Carol Lieberman, it's always interesting to think through the psychology. You can't dispute it, you know, that it plays such a role. If you can understand how the human mind works, you can make a lot of predictions. At least that's what I hoped when I went to psych school. It didn't really work out for me that way. I feel like I just know a lot about what I don't know more than what I know, if that makes any sense. But Doctor, we always appreciate your wisdom. Thanks for being here.
Thank you.